So let me tell you just a really quick story that happened to me in the industry. I will never forget it. It was about a cheerleader, and this is my cheerleader story. People have heard this. This has been around. It's probably on Facebook somewhere. A girl came to me, and she was from Scottsdale, Arizona. I was training at a gym in Scottsdale. She was, a cheerleader, and Scottsdale, Arizona is kind of like the Beverly Hills of California. I mean, there's a lot of really rich people in Scottsdale, and she came from money. And she made it clear to me that money was not an object, that she wanted to hit her goal, and her goal was to lose 5 pounds in 4 weeks. Now, if you take a look at her body weight right here, if you can see my mouse, she came to me at 120 pounds soaking wet. Her metabolism is going to be based on her mass. Her resting metabolism is going to be based on her mass. And it usually ends up in the range of 1,200 to 1,400 calories for somebody that's that petite. Whereas if I was training somebody like Brandon or Dustin, they're going to burn like 2,000 calories. So training somebody that is that petite, you're really looking at a realistic goal of doing half a pound a week. If they're way under 150 pounds, a half a pound a week is an appropriate goal. But this girl was paying me money because she wanted to fit into her prom dress for her senior prom in 4 weeks, and she had to lose 5 pounds to do it, and that was what she wanted. She was a very impressive client. She did everything that we suggested and put down for her goals. She superseded all of that. She was amazing. A client that actually does what you say, when do we hear that, right? At the end of the 4-week mark, it was Thursday, prom's on Saturday. She comes into the gym in the morning and she steps on the scale. She started with me at 120 pounds and she sees 118 pounds on the scale. Any guesses on her reaction to seeing only 2 pounds of weight loss on the scale? So yeah, this girl was about to have a full-on meltdown in the gym. And all of my coworkers and all of the members in the gym floor were going to see this girl have an absolute meltdown and release Niagara Falls. I mean, she was about ready to just cry her eyes out. And I did this. Hold on. I put the timeout signal on. I was like, hold on, let's go into the human performance lab and we'll do your post assessment right now and see how we did. So we went into the gym. She's like going into the lab, and she steps on the scale. And again, that scale that I tested her, same scale that we did the pre and post on, said 118 pounds, only 2 pounds of weight loss. And then I went and I did the girth measurements on her, and the girth measurements were showing inches of difference on her thighs, her hips, her waist, her abs. The hips is the booty measurement. Guys don't care about the booty measurement. The girls really care about the booty measurement. So she was missing inches off of that. And then she says to me, oh, I'm glad you're doing this. I don't know why I was freaking out. It's just the prom. And I know that my jeans are fitting much looser when I put them on. Like, they're way looser. So she's already acknowledging, oh yeah, I don't know why I'm freaking out about the scale. Then I do the skin fold measurements on her. We started out, she was 18% body fat. Now, when we're talking about percentage of body fat, if you're over 150 pounds, usually a percentage of body fat equates to 2 pounds. So she started at 18% body fat and went down to 15% body fat. So in pounds, that was 21.5 pounds of fat down to 17.5 pounds of fat. What's the math on that? So she lost 4 pounds of fat, but her lean mass went from 98.5 to 100.5. So how much lean muscle tissue did she gain? 2 pounds. That's the discrepancy from using the scale. So I showed her this. I said, you went down 15% body fat. That's where you put your jeans on and you look amazing, right? She went to the prom. She fit into her dress just fine, and she lived happily ever after. Thank goodness. But here's the whole point of the story, and I will never forget it, and I hope that you guys never forget it. If I had just done something like resting heart rate on her and made her do like the step test or something, and then had her step on the scale, I would not have been able to prove that she'd actually lost any weight. It was a good fortunate thing that I did skin fold and girth measurements on her, because I was able to prove to her, I said, now look, regardless of what the scale says, here's what your measurements are on skin fold calipers and girth measurements. You have lost weight. You've lost fat, but you've also put on some lean tissue as well. So she was able to see that. Now, if I hadn't have done that, she would have had that meltdown in the gym when she saw the scale, and she would have thought that I was not a good trainer and that she did everything I asked her to do and she still didn't hit her goal. Not good, huh? We need to use these assessments as proof that we are hitting our clients' goals. You want to make sure that the ones that you select are pinpointed to make sure you're obtaining results with that client.